Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now for some very topical kind of content, especially with here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands and I know the rest of the UK as well, we've been having quite a lot of rain recently. Storm Bert hit pretty freaking hard and I believe there is another storm heading this way this weekend. So there's been a few items that I've actually been using for quite some time, and when I say quite some time I genuinely mean, I've had this for I've had it for a long time, but it's just took me this long to make some content on it. There's another one coming up as well, which again I think I got in March. Anyway, we're here today to talk about the humble poncho. A few months back I made some content on the Helikon-Tex Swagman roll and the Swagman, the poncho liners, the two different versions. And a lot of people were asking about the poncho itself, and I just thought, why haven't I made any content on this? Now ponchos have been around for a very, very long time. Used by outdoors people, used by the agricultural industry, used by the armed forces. The version that we have here, this is, I guess you'd say, inspired, or it's made to have the same specifications as the US GI model as well. Now I will add to this at this point, my experience with it's absolutely, it's a classic now, isn't it? But a lot of modern day ponchos were kind of made to replicate that because of the different function that's on it. I don't have any experience with that. Now I definitely know that some of you will have some experience with that. So if you happen to, have a look down in the comments, because people will definitely ask questions. So if you have some little bits of nuggets that you might be able to answer that I can't, I will try and answer as many questions as possible, but I like the community that we've got here and I think that will probably help as well. But that's what the Polish version, or the Helikon-Tex version, is designed to look like. Now as it stands, it's in this small bag. I'm a roller. I've mentioned this in a few pieces of content in the past. I'm a roller. I like to roll things up so that they go back in exactly how they came back from the manufacturer. I know some of you sickos are stuffers, and I've been trying to, I've been stuffing. I have tried stuff. It still just feels a bit wrong. But I will admit, it's actually quite nice just stuffing it in there and not having to roll it up, put it on the floor. It's a bit of a pain. So I have tried stuff. It definitely feels wrong. However, I can see why some of you guys prefer to stuff than roll. So yes, when it comes to you, sorry I just dropped that on the floor, but when it comes to you, it does come with the actual drawstring bag itself. There's a little bit of information here on the front, just kind of about, don't iron it. Now as far as the materials of this is concerned, this is 100% polyester. It doesn't have a lining. The type of material that it is, it just kind of, if you've been in a tent, it's the same type of material that you'll find in a tent. It is also ripstop as well, just to make sure that it's nice and tough. It is a little heavier than some of those other tent style materials. This whole thing plus the bag comes in just shy of about 500 grams, half a kilo, which, it's not heavy, put it that way. And that's the beauty of these. These are designed to be something that you can have in your bag, keep it in there, go for a walk. If you don't need it, doesn't matter, it only weighs 500 grams. If you do need it, you can put it on, go for your walk, and it will keep you dry. As far as keeping you dry as well, this version also has taped seams just to make sure that there are no points that water can seep in through, which I think is great. And there's a couple of other features. Now, as far as putting this on is concerned, I'm sure you've all seen poncho before. When you think poncho, generally you'll think of two things. You'll think of Disney World or Alton Towers with people going on water rides that don't want to get wet. Or here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands, as we refer to them as big jesses. Now, those things are just designed to be single use. You wear them once, probably just bin it as soon as you get out because it'll fall apart by the time you got off the water ride. The other ones probably like spaghetti westerns, the good, the bad and the ugly, with Clint Eastwood stood there with it over his shoulder, that kind of thing. So you've all seen how these get on. It's simply over the head. Just going to pull my collar through here for a second and then we're on. Now, as far as measurements is concerned, this comes in at, I think it's 210 by 145 centimeters. I'll put it here just in case. I'm terrible with numbers. I'm 5'10". I'm about 220 pounds, which is about 100 kilos, 46, 48 inch chest. When I lift my arms up like this, it comes down to roughly where my watch would be. Now, I appreciate that these are probably designed to make sure that it fits everyone, because as far as these are concerned, there's no small, medium or large. It's one size fits most. It would be nice to have it a little bit longer so that when my arms are outstretched and when my arms come down here as well, it doesn't kind of get down to where my sleeves are. I think, again, going back to those original specifications and sizes, it makes sense why it's this size. Plus, as well, when you're getting your arms out, you don't have to kind of get it off your hands. You can still bring your hands in here to keep your hands dry, but when you need to get your hands out, it's fine. If you want to wear this, which has always been one of the beauties of a poncho, is the fact that if you have a backpack on, which is always good trying to put this on, but if you already have a backpack on and you need to put it on, then you can still wear a backpack and still be able to walk around with this. It does lift it up at the back, but you know, it is what it is. You're still able to keep walking and you're still able to keep whatever it is that you have in your back nice and dry. I will say the beauty second, being a dad, walking around wearing this through the summer and the autumn, whilst out walking with my daughters, they're probably getting wet in the really crap coats that they insist buying because they look nice rather than actually keeping them dry. I'm walking around in this and they hate the fact that I wear this, which is why I enjoy wearing it more. Now, some other features that are on here, so you may have noticed originally I had the hood up. The hood is pretty big. It doesn't have any sort of kind of pulls so that you can attach it or you can kind of cinch it down at the back. However, on the front here, it does have a pull so that you can hold it close. And when you turn your head, it does a very good job of keeping it close to your face. The pull on this, it's just some kind of, I was going to say it's paracord, but I don't even think it's paracord. It's just some nylon lace. And then you have one of these friction toggles where when you pull this, or sorry, the other way, when you pull it like that, it will make sure it holds it in place, although I keep pulling it the wrong way. And it does a good job of that. There are some additional features. The first one, actually, as far as actually, you know, wearing it is concerned, is on the inside here. So it does have one of these waist ties, which I showed this to my wife and she couldn't work out what it was. The reason that you would have this is, one of the downsides of a poncho is when you're out in the wind, because it just wants to go anywhere. There's no way around that other than just holding it down while you're walking. I mean, we will have a look at the press studs and the side. But what you can do with this is, imagine this is underneath here. I can then fasten this round, tie it up at the back, and that will mean that it won't shift off the front. So I like the fact that they added that. I'm guessing that was on that original GI version. Maybe it wasn't on the original one, but you know, they updated it to model number whatever and they added it, but it's good that it's on there. Another feature that I kind of touched on just is with this blowing up is that the sides of this are completely open. But what you can do is, through the front here, you have 4 press studs, male press studs, and then on the back here you have 4 female press studs. Now for me, I don't generally do up the top one, mainly because big wrists, but what you can do is you can press all of these together. No, I've done that the wrong way. done it the wrong way again because I'm an idiot. Press these together. I'll just do those two for now. But you can see, so what this does is it ensures the front part and the back part stay together. So on this side these are now moving separately, whereas on this side these are now moving together. There are lots of bushcraft ways in which you can use a poncho as well. Now, what I will say is there are a lot of people on YouTube that have far more experience and far more knowledge on bushcrafting, on how you can set these up. So I'm going to leave it to them, but what I will do is I'll put some links below so that you can see some of their content and help out and share some love to my fellow YouTubers. But there's a lot that you can do with this. Firstly, with these press studs here, because of the size of this, if you did want to use this as a shelter, or you needed to turn it into something a little bit larger, you and a buddy also have one of these. You can use these press studs to make this even bigger, to turn it into a larger shelter. You probably make sure that you pushed the hood through there as well. If you needed to use this as a tarp, if you're out and you're doing kind of a minimal, I've got some dirt on this from the last time I was out using it, and you're after some sort of minimal kind of setup, maybe just go with a hammock, then you can use this as a tarp. And what you have is, so at all of the corners, so here and here, here and here, you have one of these reinforced metal eyelets so that you can pass a cord through here so that you can use it. Plus, in between each of those, in the middle here, in the middle here, and then the other two sides, you also have eye holes there as well, so that when you're then wanting, so you've put your ridge line through this, and then you're wanting to make sure that this is attached to the ground so it doesn't just bellow and fly off you, then you can add extra little bits on, you can add extra ties on here as well. I made some content a while back on Ranger bands. Somebody made a comment saying that they use Ranger bands when they're battening these down. What they'll do is they'll pass a Ranger band through here and then use some 550 paracord, and because of the little give that you get in the Ranger band, just gives a little bit of a spring to this, which helps to extend the life of your poncho, which I thought was a great idea. So that's the main poncho itself, and it really does do a lot. I think as far as normies are kind of concerned, a poncho either is that thing from spaghetti westerns, or it is that thing when you go to a water park or there's a water ride at a park. Outside of that, I dare say most people will probably agree with me when I say, as far as outdoors water protection, the poncho possibly is one of the most versatile outdoor items that you can take away with you. I use mine sparingly, mainly because I've got quite a lot of other crap that I take out with me. However, it's generally in a bag and around me so that when I need it, I can just whip it out. Now I do still have the poncho liners as well, so I'm just going to take this off for a second, mainly because I've just tried this beforehand and realised it's a pain trying to do this with a jacket on. So, what we have is the Swagman roll. Now, I do have the Swagman roll, I forget the name of them. There's the Swagman roll, and then there's the Swagman roll premium, whichever one it is. This is the premium kind of deluxe version of them. However, they both work in a similar kind of fashion. But for all intents and purposes, the Swagman roll is it's a poncho liner. The Helikon-Tex version that I have here works with the poncho perfectly. So I have the Swagman roll on. Oh, wrong way round. Tried to rotate it while it was getting on. But we're on, pulling through the kind of the pull at the front, and it sits just about right. Now, wearing a poncho without a liner is fine if you've got a jacket on, but with a liner on, I can already feel the warmth that the climber shield within the liner is giving me. which is really nice. These two work together perfectly in the fact that on the Swagman roll down here in the corner, so this can be used to kind of make a sleeping bag, but in the corner here you have these pass-through toggles. So where the hole is here, you can pass this through. Then you can do exactly the same on the other side, and what this will do is make sure that these now move as one piece rather than moving freely and allowing more air to get in. Then what you can do is use the press studs that are along the side here to close this up to help to keep in a lot more of that heat and to keep it trapped in here, which will add as a second insulation to keep you a little bit warmer as well. And these two work flawlessly together, as you'd expect. They're both Helikon-Tex products. Bringing these up will definitely keep you nice and warm. The basic, that was it. There's the Swagman roll, and then there's the basic Swagman roll. The basic Swagman roll works in exactly the same way, but what you'll find with that one, from the review, from the content that I made, because of the way that it's stitched, the quilting on it, it does want to kind of lift itself up a little bit more like this, which lets a little bit more air flow through. If you're wanting to keep a lot warmer, I definitely recommend the Swagman roll over the Swagman roll basic. But it also works with other ponchos, I guess, as well. So I do have another poncho. If you did want to double layer up, just to make sure that you were definitely protected. So here's my poncho, and then I also have my Poncho Via. So this is the Poncho Via from Hazard 4. Oh. Now this is more, rather than being like a polyester material like this is, it's more like a hard shell kind of material. It is still fully waterproof with tape seams, but you can also double this up as well, and it will fit over, and as you'll see, hopefully, the measurements are still roughly the same. Now this, the Helikon-Tex Poncho is ever so slightly wider. On the inside here there's probably about 2 inches before it gets to the side. But for that extra protection, if you know you're out and you're starting to get very cold, then you can double it up with other items as well. I'm going to try and take this off without hurting my face. So there you go. The poncho really is, I know I mentioned this before, but as far as outdoor items is concerned, they're reasonably inexpensive. They take up little to no room. Stuff it away in here, you can have it in your bag, and you just can completely forget about it. Forget that you've even got it until that moment that it starts raining and you need it. You can take it out and you can use it, and it will keep you nice and dry. Super useful. I use super too much. I should start saying super too much. Gets sound like one of those kind of millennial types. Yeah, super cool kind of thing. Anyway, where was I? So, the poncho. Now this was sent to me by Military First. I want to give a huge shout out to Military First. I've worked with them now for the last 5 or 6 years. Those guys are awesome. They're a short stone's throw away from the Kingdom Moorlands in Manchester. They have given me a discount code, which you'll be able to see below here. If you use the discount code, it'll give you some discount off non-sales items, and I just have to make sure that I stress that part. It's non-sales items. They have a lot of sales through the year, so if they already have a sale on, it doesn't give you an additional X amount off that. It's just if it's already not in the sales, but hopefully it will mean that you get to save some pennies either way. So yeah, huge shout out to Military First. I'll leave those links below. I'll also leave some of my social media links below so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander and stay EDC. Not a lot of people know this, but the humble poncho was invented here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands. During one of the wars when we were fighting the Vikings, in the army there was a vice admiral called Poncho Oliver. He had a double barrel surname. He was one of the first people in the world to ever have a double barrel surname, and he was half Moorlandese. His mum was from the Moorlands, but his dad was English, so he would get quite nash from time to time. So whilst fighting the Romans, the wind was blowing in from one direction, the rain was blowing in from another direction. So he had a cape on his back to keep it protected from the cold. I mentioned half English, so he's quite nash. So on the front he had another cape, and that's how it was adopted. It was adopted into the military that way, because his name was Poncho Oliver. Eventually that was shortened to Poncho, and that's where the term poncho comes from. Yeah, it was invented in the Kingdom of the Moorlands whilst we were fighting the Vikings or the Romans. Anyway, we were fighting one of them. You know, we proud warrior race here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands. But yeah, the more you know. Just make sure we are off. And it is 11:11. 11:11, people. Does anybody else find that? I see 11:11. Loads. All over the place. I look at my watch probably 3 or 4 times a week. And I'll go, oh, I wonder what time it is. Oh, it's 11:11. Of course it is. Anyway, if I stand here in this hole, when I go back, I go up, and it's perfect for film. I found my perfect filming hole. That's what she said. Moving on swiftly. Or one of them we'll have a look in the next piece of content. But I've had this for a while now. Maybe just trying. Anyway, it's been a while, several months, but I don't know what I'm going to say. And this is Moorlander EDC. I'm trying to find trying to find what to say, you fucking bellend. It'd be awesome if you could like fart hard enough that it went like that through the back. I think you'd probably end up soiling yourself in the process, but if somebody could do that, that would be impressive. Skippity bippity boopity boppity. What was I going to say? I know what you're going to say. You're a massive bellend. That was it. Bellend! I'm pretty sure my Aussie friends and Kiwi friends all know what a bellend is. Here's one. Randy's question for the day. Outside of the Kingdom of the Moorlands, the UK, probably Australia, New Zealand, I'm guessing South Africa might know what a bellend is as well. Is a bellend a term that you would call a good friend where you are? You bellend. That's how you'd use it. So the use would be, come on, bellend, hurry up. That's how you'd use it. That's how you'd use it in a sentence. Yeah. So I'm not sure what day. This might come out on the Sunday. I think it's probably going to come out on the Sunday. Either way, I hope you're all having a good Sunday, you bunch of bellends. Again, that was just another example of how you would use it. Yeah, have a good Sunday, folks. See you soon. You bellends.